Welcome to Sci-Fi Stories. If you love stories of courage and mystery, make sure to subscribe and join our growing community. They called humans the ultimate prey. They dropped one soldier on their hunting planet. No weapons. No backup. What they didn't know was that they had just unleashed their extinction. The stars above were cold and indifferent as the ancient Exxiron planet spun silently through space. The Exxiron were tall, brutal warriors, hunters by culture, predators by instinct. For centuries, they had dominated worlds and slaughtered the fiercest creatures across the galaxy. But then they discovered something new. Humans. A small, primitive species that had somehow escaped its homeworld and ventured into the stars. To the Exxiron, humans weren't enemies. They were prey. Their obsession centered on one man, a Green Beret named Sergeant Jack Hawk Hawkins. Hawkins had been part of an elite human operation that went catastrophically wrong. Captured by the Exxiron, he was chosen for the ultimate hunt. The Exxiron Dominion believed the game would be easy. They were the greatest hunters in the galaxy, faster, stronger, merciless. They had killed monsters that wiped out entire civilizations. But they had never hunted someone like Hawkins. Jack Hawkins was no ordinary soldier. He was trained in guerrilla warfare, survival, sabotage, and combat under the worst conditions imaginable. His body was hardened. His mind was lethal. And the Exxiron made one fatal mistake. They turned him loose. Hawkins was dropped onto the planet with nothing but a basic survival pack. The Exxiron were confident they would claim his skull within hours. Track. Hunt. Kill. They didn't realize they had just created a nightmare. For the first few days, the planet was eerily quiet. Hawkins vanished. He used their arrogance against them, laying traps, hijacking their tracking technology, leading them into false pursuits. Always one step ahead. The Exxiron weren't used to being outsmarted. They were hunters, not prey. As days passed, frustration turned to fear. Patrols vanished. Soldiers were found wounded or dead, victims of brutal, precise traps. Their own hunting ground had begun to consume them. Then Hawkins struck. Deep within the dense forests lay the Exxiron stronghold. They believed it untouchable. Hawkins spent days studying patrol patterns, defenses, and layouts. When the Exxiron slept, he moved. Guards fell silently. Security systems failed. Communications were severed. By the time they realized something was wrong, it was already over. Weapons sabotaged. Supply caches destroyed. Transports disabled. Panic spread through the ranks. The galaxy's greatest hunters were now running. Hawkins disappeared again, but this time he wasn't hiding. He was hunting. Each kill was deliberate. Each body left as a message. You are not the apex predator here. Armor stripped. Weapons stolen. Insignias carved into the ground beside the dead. Night after night, fear consumed the Exxiron. Weeks passed. And then came the final hunt. The remaining Exxiron cornered Hawkins in the mountains. Their leader, a massive brute named Draxer, stood confident. The human has nowhere left to run, he declared. But Hawkins wasn't running. He was waiting. The ambush was over in minutes. Explosives. Silent takedowns. Perfect execution. Draxer and his soldiers fell where they stood. When the smoke cleared, the hunters lay scattered in a grim circle. Hawkins stood among them, alive. Victorious. As the last Exxiron died, Hawkins spoke into the empty sky. You think you can hunt us? Play with us like toys? You can't. Humans don't just survive. We fight. And we win. The planet fell silent. The Exxiron had come to hunt a human. Instead, they were erased. Sergeant Jack Hawk Hawkins had sent a message that would echo across the stars. Never underestimate humanity.